Tia Maurioro, Manawatina, Manawatina, Manawatoka, Manawatoka, Tene Hokito Manawakatina, Tene Hokito Manawakatoka, Tene Hokito Manawaka Pautaya Kitia, Tina Nohoto Manawa, He Manawa Ora, He Ora. E te awa noi nau mahara mai, wakatau mai ki te rohi o Manawatū, ko tararua te nā pai, pai mai ngā, ko Manawatū te awa, ko kurohaupo te waka, ko rangi tānei te iwi, ko whātonga te tangata. Tēnei whetui ki te rangi, ko rangi tānei ki te whenua, haume hui e, tāi ki e. Ko wai ahau, ko taranaki maunga, ko taranaki whenua, ko taranaki tangata, ko pewa māteni ahau.
No mai, haere mai, welcome to the 2024 Tradestaff International Invitational Tournament. Kia ora Bevan, ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Ko wai ahau, ko Hoani Lambert, toko ingoa no Ngāti Kahungunu ki te Wairoa ahau.
Kia ora koutou e te whānau, ko Hauhora te maunga, ko Te Aupauri te iwi, ko Smith taku whānau, ko Jackie ahau.
And it's a pleasure to have you joining us again for this Mixed Reo broadcast, brought to you in association with Softball New Zealand. And we're looking forward to our continued coverage, as well as live simulcast with Whakaata Māori, the official broadcaster of the Men's Softball World Cup. This game is the second game for the New Zealand Black Sox today, this afternoon against Japan. And I'm really excited to have alongside me, as you've heard, Jackie Smith, Bevan Markia. Bevan, looks like a good opportunity for the Black Sox to follow up on a bit of a mixed game, first time round against Canada.
Yeah, there is, and it's good that they get straight back into it. I think having a break and taking some time, but you know, we've come to play ball, and that's what they're here for. Also, would just like to know mai hara mai ki te whakapapa o te tōkina pango. So we're some debutants in our first game. Pitarona, Bradley Bennett will come in today. Cam Watts, Dante, Markia, Matakatia, Reece Evans from the game before, and Tane Mumu. So to you gentlemen, no mai hara mai ki te whakapapa, ki te whānau o tōkina pango.
And Jackie, it's a quick turnaround for the Black Sox. What are you expecting to see from them in this matchup against Japan?
Yeah, I think they'll be wanting to just probably tidy up on a few things from their first game that they had. You know, there were probably just a few field work, bit of field work that they might want to tidy up on, particularly in the catching there, just combinations. But you know, they're just going to see it as another opportunity to get some quality tunes at bat, get some quality time on the field, and just continue to build up, which is what we've been talking about.
Kei te whititira, the sun is out. It's a partly cloudy day here in the Manawatū, Colquhoun Ballpark, the home of Manawatū softball. It's a beautiful day, 21 degrees centigrade. For those in the northern hemisphere, you'll be more familiar with 69.8 Fahrenheit. Just looking at the Black Sox team, who will be fielding to open up this game. The battery will be Peter Rona pitching to Cameron Watts. First base, Connor Peden. At second base, Dante Markia Matakatea. Third base, Joel Evans. At shortstop, Cole Evans. Left field, Bradley Bennett. Centre field, Ben Enoka. And at right field, Riley Markia. Starting the hitting for Japan, their first three hitters will be Une, the shortstop, Yasumi, the second base, and Morita, the left field. And here we see the back of Peter Rona. It's a change of battery from the Black Sox. So both Peter Rona and Cameron Watts, a different pitcher-catcher combination than in the game that we saw just finish. The New Zealanders going down by 4-2 against Canada, and we'll come back to that result in a moment. Une making contact early. And it felt, Jackie, that perhaps it wasn't necessarily the objective of trying to win that game, more so just seeing if they could get a full game out of that battery combination.
Yeah, they were looking. Yeah, absolutely. You know, without speaking to Coach Mark Sorensen and understanding what his strategy was, I think it is really, really important, and he knows that it's going to take a team. It's going to take a team for him to get the win at the end of the World Cup. So he's got to look to use all his players, give them opportunity, work the combinations, and just see how long they can last in games, because, you know, they're under pressure. This is top ball. They've just got to really, he's got to allow them to experience that.
And Bevan, it's a bit of a transition, isn't it, going from Canada to Japan, not just in terms of the physical size difference between the two squads, but also the style of play.
Oh, definitely. You know, virtually with the Japanese coming in, it's going to be a whole big change. You know, they put the ball in play, just like we're seeing right now. They're quick. They'll take any opportunity to take that extra bases, but also they're just as sharp in the field.
So Une with a nice hit out to centre field, and we just saw the underground conditions are still a bit damp. I noticed as I was walking around the park just before this game started that there's still quite a bit of surface moisture, so we could expect to see outfielders potentially sliding a little bit. Une safely at first base, brings to bat the second base, Yasumi.
And you can see just the way the Black Sox are fielding. They know that they're going to play the short game.
Yeah.
So they're squeezing in. You know, they're making that adjustment, you know, compared to the game before where they knew Canada wasn't going to square and bunt and put ball in play. So you definitely can see the changes and the different attitudes of what's going on out there.
In Japan, of course, with that speed, you'll see a few of their players would have actually transitioned over to the left-hand hitting style. Simply because of them being slightly closer to first base. It gives them the option just to put the ball into the dirt, get a high hop, and hopefully safely get down to first base. Again, not something you see to this extent with other international teams.
Yeah, so we've got a situation here is because the coach for the Japanese coach is in the dugout, so he's not coaching from first and third. So you got Brutus here, Mark, coming out to question the umpire and saying, hey, that's a conference, because the hitter went into the dugout just to query what signals were getting done. So, you know, there's that technical aspect in regards to what's going on here.
So Brutus Mark Sorensen, the head coach of the New Zealand team, and that drive down the left field line has gone foul. And so Bevan, just to explain for our viewers, you can only have so many conferences between a player and their coach in a half inning.
Yes, that's right. So they can have one, and then after that, if they have another conference and goes on, then someone's got to go. So obviously the player has to be replaced in regards to that.
It's quite usual in baseball to see the head coach in the dugout, not so common in softball.
No, definitely not. And the key thing with Japan too is they go by numbers. So the coaching staff's all on 30, above 30, 31, 32, things like that. So their head coach wears 30 and their captain wears 10. So to identify those sorts of things, a tradition that they've had in the past and everything that goes on. So it's not about the number that goes on, it's where you're at. You know, you come into a team and you're used to wearing 10 as you're growing through the grades. Well, when you get into this league, 10 is their captain.
I had no idea. That's really good tradition as we see the first strikeout for Peter Rona. Yasumi is retired. Back to the dugout. Haere ki te pai.
Haere ki te pai.
Haere ki te pai. We like to say that as many times as possible, please.
There we see it. Haere ki te pai. That's the third strike, a swing and a miss for Yasumi. So this is the third left-hander in a row in a really unusual hitting style. This is Morita, the left fielder. So we're looking to see how settled Peter Rona can get early on in this game. We'll talk about why in a moment. It's a swing and a miss. In the previous match, Daniel Chapman, one of the lead pitchers for the Black Sox, pitched the whole game but gave up 10 walks, I should say, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits. Really struggled to settle down, and it's another strikeout. Haere ki te pai.
Haere ki te pai.
Yeah.
Morita retired. So Bevan, in comparison, this is not too bad a start given we had the safe hit, but 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, so I think what we see with Pita, he's thrown a whole lot more strikes and closer to the zone than we did with Daniel. And that's what you get with Pita.
Nice low rise ball there that we saw for that third strike against Morita. We've got Matsuda into the batter's box now, the designated player on deck. First base, Toriyama.
And an interesting thing, you know, with their lead-off batter getting on, we haven't seen him try to test the catcher's arms. You know, they've been pretty stationary. He's happy to stay there. The coach is happy just to see what's going to happen.
Matsuda, the first right-handed hitter we've seen from Japan. And it's a walk. So Rona walks Matsuda, advances Une down to second base. Japan runners on 1 and 2. And into bat is number 20, the designated player Matsuda.
And there's nothing wrong with it, you know. Matsuda he took a 2 moana. He's the rock. He's the main guy in this team for the Japanese, and Pita's done probably a good job there in regards to making him not hurt us.
Keeping the ball away, yes. Good pitch. And that's smart, right? That's a smart tactic. When if they've done their homework, New Zealand, and have thought about their hitters, and they know the ones that are going to be the most dominant and consistent, then we don't necessarily have to go at them.
No, that's right. And that's another one of Mark's philosophies, is don't let the best person in the other opposition turn around and beat you.
Japan, runners on 1 and 2, 2 away. Toriyama at bat. And it's another strikeout. Haere Kitepai Toriyama to end Japan's first turn at bat. They leave 2 runners stranded. Come back and we'll give you the fielding lineup for Japan. Colquhoun Park, Manawatū, for the Tradestaff International Invitational Series. This game between the New Zealand Black Sox and Japan. Looking at the defensive lineup for Japan, it says Czech Republic, should be Japan. The pitcher, Koyama. Catcher, Kotaka. At first base, Toriyama. Second base, Yasumi. At third base, Sakuraba. Shortstop, Une. And the outfield, Morita. At left field, Kawara. At centre field, and Hamamoto at right field. First 3 hitters for the Black Sox, Ben Enoka, followed by Joel Evans, then Cole Evans. Ben Enoka will start the hitting. Had a couple of good hits in his first game today against Canada. One of the most experienced Black Sox in this team. Watches one go through for strike 1. So Koyama and Kataoka, the battery for Japan. We mentioned during the last game for the Black Sox that they had quite a lot of good contact, particularly against the first Canadian pitcher, and then started to find some form also against Schofield in the final turn at bat, and they'll be looking to bring some of that form back into the beginning of this match.
Yeah, they were making good contact, and I think when you're doing that, that means that your timing, that's your timing. That's also your pitching selection. So they were picking the right pitcher, so they should be pretty happy with that. They're going to have to adjust though, because it's a different pitcher, different style, different types of pitches.
Enoka, it's a long fly ball out to right field. A comfortable catch from Hamamoto to retire Enoko, one away.
But yes, I think that they will be very happy from the last game, coming into this game, that they're making contact and they're seeing the ball.
So there we see the full hitting lineup for the Black Sox. Just saw Ben Enoka. Joel Evans is now in the batter's box. Cole Evans, Riley Markia, Connor Peden, Peter Rona, Bradley Bennett, Cameron Watts, and Dante Markia Matakatia. And it's a ground ball to Une, across to Toriyama, 2 away. Japan team, Jackie, well known for their tight fielding.
Absolutely, yes. Always have been. They've repetition. That's just what they do. Basics, they do it well, they do it over and over again to be consistent. And it's not very often that you'll see a Japanese team actually make too many errors. If you want to apply pressure to force those errors, you really have to do things slightly different. Yeah, whether it be the way we hit the ball, where we hit the ball, the way we run. So we just add or apply that extra pressure to them to create those errors. But it's just really not very often that will happen. It's their discipline in the way they play softball or the way they train it.
It's Cole Evans in the batter's box.
And you can see what the Japanese are trying to do here. They're working on the inside part of the plate against the Black Sox. They're keeping the ball down and in tight. So if they do get it, it's just going to go into that wind that we spoke about earlier, Jimmy Wani.
So the weather has fined up. We've had quite a bit of moisture overnight. Last night the rain meant that games were suspended until this morning. There's still a strong breeze going from left to right over the diamond. Cole Evans picks the walk. Haere ki te hikoi.
Haere ki te papatahi off the first
Haere
base.
ki te papatahi. Aye.
Right.
Brings to bat number 99, Riley Markia. Runner on 1, 2 outs.
And this is good. If we can have a runner on base, the Black Sox, each turn at bat, each inning, it's just planting the seed that we're here to play.
So Riley Markia had 3 turns at bat in the last game against Canada. Didn't manage to get a hit, but he was hitting the ball firmly. In fact, one that he drilled to the second base along the ground probably was almost a hit. So he's certainly seeing the ball well today. This is his first look though today at Koyama. That was a great pitch. So Markia thought it was coming inside, but it just held on and clipped the inside of the plate. It was carrying a bit of pace, was up. Foul ball. It's a real good battle, this one, Jackie.
Yeah, well, as Bevan mentioned earlier, they're working that inside of the plate, so you know the Black Sox have to identify that pitch, and if they actually want to get themselves a safe hit to the left field, they actually have to get around, identify it early and get out to it earlier so they don't get jammed on it. Or forcing him to take the ball outside, you know, making contact on that inside pitch, forcing them to go onto the outside and then hitting it off field, because ideally we probably want to hit behind our runners.
Good crowd out there in centre field, enjoying the view.
Yeah, it's great to see the people come out today to watch the game of softball.
It's a lovely facility here at Colquhoun Park. Quite a lot of work done on it to prepare it for the Junior Boys World Series that was held here 2 years ago. And that's a nice fly ball out to left field.
Great running by Cole Evans.
Fantastic running. Cole Evans around to Papatoru, around to third base. And the New Zealand team with runners on the corners. We're in the bottom of the first, 2 out.
Here we see this turn at bat. Let's take a look at where this, and right there was probably good on him. It was in the zone. Japan probably wouldn't be happy with that, but he made the most of that.
Yeah, unlike the earlier pitch that just clipped the inside
That's
of
right.
the upper zone, that one was probably a little bit too far over the plate.
Yep.
Into that power area.
And that's just what we need to be doing, though, is be patient, trust, and then when they bring it in, we need to be ready.
In that case, Cole Evans, excellent running, because the ball went to left field close to third base, but he still managed to get around from first to third.
Yeah, well, I think he got a good jump, but he identified that it actually looked like it was going long and deep into left field, but it didn't. It actually sat in and dropped in front of the left fielder, so he took advantage of that and just kept accelerating round to 3. So it's great base running, aggressive.
Into the batter's box, Connor Peden. It's 2 away, runners on 1 and 3. Good opportunity here for the Black Sox. And some good ball strike selection here from Peden, and of course the Black Sox weren't ahead at any stage in that game against Canada, so they'll be wanting to see if they can put pressure on early here against Japan. And good running by Riley Markier down to second base. So the Black Sox, runners on 2 and 3. 2 away. Importantly, 3 balls now on Connor Peden, and first base open, Bevan.
Yeah. Japanese don't like to walk too many people, though. That's the problem with the, you know, in regards to this. But coming in, you know, loaded bases, 2 outs, any base becomes option now, right, you know, in this situation. So even though people think that the pressure's on, the pressure's actually not on, because it gives you an option to go any base you like to go. And with Pitt up, you know, he's definitely going to drive the ball here, or hoping to drive the ball.
It was quite interesting on that play, though, from a run with a runner at first and third, Bevan, that there was no play on that runner going down to second, which typically we would there'd be a tactic there, right?
Yeah, definitely with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Taking that guy out there, but I think what the Japanese have seen is with Cole Evans running on third, the speed of Cole Evans, of them not throwing down there.
So 2 strikes on Peter Rona. Peter, of course, also pitching. A lot of the time in softball, you'll give the pitcher the day off with the bat, but Peter Rona this time striking out. Hokiki Depai heads back to the dugout. So the Black Sox leaving bases loaded after their first turn at bat, going into the top of the second. It's 0-0.
90s and more.
Kia ora koutou, welcome back to the Manawatū, Colquhoun Park. This is the Black Sox second game of the day, and it's a tight one. We're into the top of the second inning. Japan will return to bat. Their first three hitters, Kataoka, Hamamoto, Kawada. Pitarona. Bevan had a good start in the first inning, gave up a hit, but then 3 strikeouts.
Yep, and that's what you're after. You know, and especially going into that first innings, that's what you want for your pitcher. Come out, get settled, get in a groove, and continue it on.
Kataoka, the catcher, another left-handed hitter. And it's a strong drive out to right field. Hepu.
Poo, he pao,
He pao, he
yeah,
poo.
he poo, he pao.
He
Pao
poo, he
hit.
pao.
Yeah.
Aere ki te papatahi.
That's another example, though, of how Japan, because that pitch was arguably not in the zone. It was high, looked like it was out of the zone, and then they just chopped down on it for a ground ball.
And it's on the ground. Might have helped
Oh,
the second base, Dante Makia Matakatia. So a nice play from the Black Sox,
Nice
taking the lead runner down to 1, and Pitarona just taking the sting off that ball, allowing Dante Makia Matakatia to bring it in and complete the out, going to second base.
And that's good for Dante too. You know, for
See
him
you
to
making
come in.
contact straight up the middle, taking the out at 2 himself. And that's a tough play, and the job of the base runner is to try and disrupt that second play, phase 2 at first, and they weren't able to come out with a double play.
It's Kawada into the batter's box, 1 away, and it's a pass ball, which means that Hamamoto goes safely down to 2. We'll have a bit of a conference. Perhaps Cam Watts, Bevan, not quite expecting that pitch.
Yeah, and it probably, you know, it's probably his first or maybe second time catching the pitta, understanding of what's coming at him and things like that. So
We spoke about the opportunity here for the Black Sox coaching staff, and in particular the pitching coach Paddy Shannon, to try out some of these fairly uncommon combinations. There's a great pitch from Rona.
and you look at it, you know, in these first 2 games, you know, just about every player's would have had a game, you know, in the Black Sox colours. So.
And that's important, isn't it? Because they need to be also experiencing the moment, the situations, not only on the field, it'll be, you know, on home turf, the expectations, saying, hey guys, just go out and play ball. Get out there. Don't worry about everything else that's going on around you. Just enjoy the moment.
Kawada drives out to shortstop. Easy catch there for Cole Evans. 2 out. So the Black Sox will be aware of the speed of the Japanese base runners. That runner at 2 will really put pressure on to try and get home on any ground balls out to the outfield. That's a great bunt down for the catcher, Cam Watts, who decides to hold on and not risk the throw down to first base. Sakuraba was already well down the track. Pushes Hamamoto around to third base, and Japan have runners on 1 and 3 with 2 out.
And here we see this again. Drops a perfect bunt there, but very quick down to first base.
And these are things you've got to expect. You know, when you play Japan, you've
Yeah.
got to expect that they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially being behind the dish, that's your ball. You've got to get out there and get it. And you've virtually got to be out there as the ball hits the bat.
Yeah. And the thing is that you need to expect it when you least expect it when you play Japan.
Ai, tēnā tika tō kōrero.
Into batters top of the order for Japan, Une, the shortstop.
So you would have seen there we had a signal come from our catcher, Cameron Watts, to his field. So it's all about that as well, practicing your signals in certain situations so everybody knows where they're going. So this is a 1 and 3 play. If the runner goes down, he's given a signal to his team on where they may throw the ball.
So you recall in the last turn at bat for the Black Sox, they had a similar situation, runners on 1 and 3 and 2 away. We saw Dante go down on that occasion. Japan, though, just deciding to not send Sakurura down as yet, despite his obvious pace. We saw that. Got him down to first base in the first instance. Foul ball just. Good judgment there from Joel Evans not to commit to going for that. A deflection there would have potentially have seen the ball be fair. So all these little battles, Bevan, are quite important early on.
Yeah, definitely. You know, seeing a situation just out here, 2 outs. Yeah. And all that guy on first base is trying to open up that gap. So that little drive or the little hit that this Oike is trying to do is push it through that gap. Stealing that runner is going to either push Evans across to take second base.
Oh. Change of pace from Rona. Showing a good level of confidence, Rona. Full range of pitches being thrown despite runner on 3.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you want. You don't want them just sitting on the hard stuff. You know, you want them to be up in the box, not feeling comfortable and set that they're going to come out swinging. You got to keep them on their toes.
Again, it's the bottom of the order. We saw this a bit in the game against Canada. Bottom order for Canada really providing the fire. And it's a loose pitch that sees Hamamoto score. That's Japan's first run. Runners advance. It was on a walk. So we have Une down to first, Sakuraba down to second.
Oh, there, and it just got away on him. Was in the dirt, just needed to trap that a little more with his body.
And again, reminiscent of the game against Canada, where their first run was scored with a wild pitch as well.
Yes.
So up to bat with runners on 1 and 2, and ahead by 1 run is Yasumi on deck. Left field Morita. Yasumi was struck out in his last turn at bat.
And Japan are really making him work hard here, isn't he? He's having to throw a few more pitches.
So with their size, they come with speed, but also a compressed strike zone. Makes it harder for Rona and Watts. And also really good pitch selection.
And that's so important.
Change of pace there from Rona.
Just not quite able to back up that same pitch.
So that's the Second walk.
Second walk.
Third walk of the game means Japan have loaded bases. There's a bit of a conference occurring. Just have a chat through what needs to happen. Mark Sorensen, no, Patrick Shannon coming out to meet with them.
Kia tau. Just a bit of settling time for them, you know. You've still got 2 outs. Any base comes available now. So yeah.
Japan come into this game with a great record at World Series in recent years. And one of their stars, Morita, in the batter's box. It's a fly ball out to left field, and
great
catch
catch
from Bradley Bennett, who sees the Black Sox out of trouble, leaving Japan with bases loaded to end their second turn at bat. They've scored 1 run though, and they lead the Black Sox by 1-0 going into the bottom of the second.
Ka pai te hopu. Great catch. No mai hoki mai. Ki te pakanga. Welcome back to the battle. Yeah. A nice catch out there by Bradley Bennett. Very good. And it's good for him to have the ball in his hands on his debut, you know. I've got that first one over. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what you want, isn't it? When you're out there, absolutely, I agree. I remember my first games or first moments, and you go, please just hit me the ball. Please just hit me the ball so I can feel the ball.
And now he's having a chance in the batter's box, Bradley Bennett. It's Koyama to Kataoka, and it's a long fly ball out to left field, and it's a catch by Morita. Nice piece there from Bennett though for 1 away.
So you can see the timings there, the making the contact, yeah? So that's all there. It's now just getting runners on base and manufacturing some runs though with that to go with it. All needs to connect.
Cameron Watts comes to the plate. So Cameron Watts, Bevan, were you saying this is a debut?
No. Yes, it is. So, you know, a bit of settling time for him, get his eye in, you know, a bit like Bradley. Get something in the hands, get that sting in your hands, and that's what you're after at your first at bat.
Unfortunately for Cameron Watts, it's second strikeout for Koyama. Dante Makia Matakate comes to the batter's box with 2 away, with the Black Sox chasing 1 run. Dante in this team with his brother Riley. both of whom have had a great season this year, both individually but also as part of the Wellington National Provincial Championship team. Won the National Fastpitch Championship down in Christchurch. This Black Sox team really is dominated by Auckland and Wellington players, with a sprinkling of magic from the Hutt Valley.
Sprinkling of magic.
North Harbour, a little bit of Canterbury.
And you got the Watts boys that, you know, originally from Dunedin. They're still living down there and just commute to Canterbury.
So is that our fourth set of brothers?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep, you'll be right.
You know, and it's great to see these young boys having their debut and our new young generation coming through, Bevan.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, makes it exciting.
That's right.
It's, you know, the Black Sox have always had a legacy, haven't we? We've got that's the history of it and how we continue that on, and we've got players coming through, developing all of them into the game of softball, so it's great to see.
So the Black Sox, after their second turn at bat, Koyama with his third strikeout. It's 1-0 Japan going into top 3.
Te rao, te raukura, Te Awa Kairangi's annual festival day is back. Saturday, January the 28th, 2023. We're looking forward to putting on the big event again for the Hutt Valley, where we'll bring to you local entertainment from local performers and guests and more. Te Whiti Park on Saturday the 28th of January 2023.
What are you up to, Matai?
Reversing. I start a new job driving a forklift on Monday.
I thought you worked in an office.
Don't limit yourself, Brian. It's never too late to make smarter choices. How's Karen?
Take control of your career with Tradestaff.
No mai, hoki mai, welcome back to the Tradestaff International Invitational Series. It's Japan's third turn at bat. They're leading by 1-0. And starting the batting for them in their third turn is number 20, Matsuda, the designated player. Up next is Toriyama. Hitarona has completed 2 innings. He's faced 12 hitters. 3 strikeouts, couple of walks, couple of hits. Just settling into his work early on.
Just seems to be a little unsettled out there with regards to maybe the pitching area. Maybe the hitters standing on his plate.
And Japanese like that.
Yeah.
They'll crowd their plate.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
Seeing that's that dirt. Yeah, he seems to have just been concerned about that over the last few innings.
So Matsuda picks the walk safely up to first base to start the third inning for Japan. And Bevan, it's interesting, many of these pitchers and catchers for New Zealand, a couple of them at least, have their normal battery combinations here, but it seems that they're intentionally trying to try out these newer combinations, do you think?
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. You know, going into the World Series, you have to expect the unexpected. So you've got to try these things at the build-up situations, just in case you get into an injury or something does happen, that they've already been with each other and they know each other, instead of just turning up and going, oh, this is what we've got to do.
Yeah, that's right. And look, hey, the reality is too, is someone could get sick. Anything could happen, right? So you need to practice the what if.
This is Toriyama, the first base. Struck out last time he was at the plate.
Nice.
Swing and a miss, and some good catching there by Cam Watts. Gets the deflected ball into the glove, one away. Toriyama really disappointed that he went after that rise ball. It was well out of the zone. But good pitching from Brunner. This is Kataoka, the captain. Last time, a nice hit out to right field. Nice and tidy from Brunner, getting ahead in the count early. Just feeling out the edges of the strike zone. Doing well at the moment, Brunner. Just destabilising these Japanese hitters, leaving them guessing, and on that occasion a rather unconvincing Kataoka hoki mai ki te pai. 2 down.
And he finished both of those hitters with rise balls out of the zone, got them swinging. So here we see here, looking to go outside, going up, out of the zone, and making them chase it.
So 2 away. It's Hamamoto, the right fielder. Matsuda still at first base. Be interesting to see whether or not the Japanese try and get Matsuda down into more of a scoring position.
Yeah, they just seem to be okay with letting their hitters have their turn at bat and not applying too much pressure on the base paths. There he goes again, throwing that ball high in the zone, and they're chasing it. So it seems to be working for him in this inning. Nice.
And nice fielding there from the Black Sox. Very tidy. Cole Evans across to Dante Makia Matakatia to retire Japan after their third turn at bat. Going into bottom 3, it's 1-0 Japan.
Te Rao Te Raukura is back for 2023. We're accepting stall space applications right now. For commercial or non-commercial groups, find out more details over on Facebook or call us on 0800 Raukura.
Kia ora koutou, this is the Tradestaff Invitational International Softball Series, a key lead-up event prior to the WBSC Men's World Cup, which will be taking place in Albany from Friday. If you haven't got your tickets, get them quickly. You'll be able to see more world quality international softball. The Black Sox going back to the top of their order, and it's Ben Anoka. Black Sox are chasing 1 run. And Jackie, that was a much tidier defensive effort from the Black Sox.
Yeah, much tidier.
As we see a high fly ball out to right field. It's a repeat of his first turn at bat. Fly ball caught by Hamamoto, 1 away.
Yeah, and they would have been happy with that. Pitta would have been happy with that too, just keeping composed, just doing what he needs to do. He seems to have a change in strategy in his pitches in the last inning, getting them to chase that fly ball. But yeah, that was perfect. That's just what they needed.
Joel Evans comes to the batter's box, the New Zealand third base, with 1 away. things starting to warm up again here at Colquhoun Park. That wind is still strong, drifting left to right. Fly balls are swirling a little bit. If you get anything high in the air over that centre right field area, got a good chance of it travelling quite a way. Joel Evans comes to the plate, grounded out in his first turn.
Yeah, and the wind it's probably not ideal for softballs, but sometimes, you know, it is what it is, but can't help but think it actually would have been perfect to blow away a bit of this water that was sitting on the diamond and the sun, and just dry things up a bit to make the conditions better for the players.
Only an Aucklander could have said that. Right. I'm from Wellington. Wind is perfect for softball. If we thought it wasn't, we'd never play. Joel Evans. There's a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Koyama doing well. Called a strike, so Joel Evans is retired, 2 away.
All can get the bite.
I'd have just thought that was a bit inside. But that's not what the umpire thought. That's the umpire's zone.
Cole Evans comes to the plate, the New Zealand captain. He was walked last time, went round to third on a nice hit by Riley Markia. Unfortunately stranded there, goes after the first pitch. Goes foul, luckily.
And I think for us in regards to the Black Sox, we can't get the Japanese get in a groove. You know, we can't let them continue just to groove and groove and groove and get, you know, 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down.
Speaking of which, it's a fly ball out to shortstop. It's 3 up, 3 down. Going into the top of the 4th, Japan lead 1-0. Kia ora koutou, welcome back. This is a Tradestaff International Invitational Series match between Japan and the New Zealand Black Sox. This is a key opportunity for the New Zealand players to start to stake their claim for starting lineups for World Cup starting next week. At this stage we've seen a new pitcher-catcher combination. This one, Peter Rona from North Harbour with Cam Watts from Canterbury. And they've been going pretty well, Bevan. The first inning, 3 strikeouts, and then third inning, tidy again.
Yeah, it's just a couple of loose ones, you know, but they seem to be going along quite well. And obviously, you know, you got to take it to the, you know, especially for Cam being behind the dish in the first game in his, you know, that debut. He's got to be nerves back there. I had it when I had my first go, you know, and you're more worried about the ball's coming down, I've got to catch it, oh shit, I can't do this, and those sorts of things. So it's, you know, as you can see, he's getting, you know, as the game gets on, his confidence, he gets back to being the reason why he got selected in this team.
It's a called strikeout. Good work there between Peter Rona and Cam Watts to retire Kawada. That's one away. This is Sakuraba.
Oh, right there. That's, yeah, I don't think that hitter was actually happy with himself for leaving it.
So that was 6th strikeout for Peter Rona. And Yusuke Sakuraba, the third base for Japan. In his last turn at bat, he put down that lovely bunt, the ball dead in front of the plate.
Oh.
Rona really hitting his spots now.
He is, isn't he? And he's really starting to, it seems he's, you know, just found a bit of a groove, found a bit of a sequence in the way that he's actually dominating these hitters and getting them to chase those, what we call maybe poor pitches, which is hence why the last few innings he's actually been quite dominant and had some good quick innings.
I think that's the difference we're seeing from the first game.
Yeah.
You know, Chapman with the amount of walks that he threw and, and Pitters getting through it.
Yeah. Oh.
And did he go? Yes, he did.
Ah, yes, he
so
did.
that is strikeout number 7 for Peter Rona, the second of this inning. It's 2 away. Brings back to the plate. Leadoff hitter for Japan, Une, the shortstop on deck, Yasumi. Jackie was seeing a really good mixture of pace and spots being hit by Rona.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he's bringing to the game. But he's also noting he can also throw it hard for his strikes when he needs to. So mixing it up, throwing some off pace, throwing it up and down, in and out. They're really doing a good job here in mixing things up against these Japanese hitters. And it's certainly paying off for him at the moment.
You can sense there's a rhythm, there's a tempo between the pitches. He's getting ahead in the count early.
Yep. You're seeing a real pitching hitting battle here.
Of course, when you get ahead in the count as a pitcher, it means that you can then just push the ball slightly further away from the zone, see if you can get a swing. We saw him do well with his rise ball.
Yeah, that's right, and get them chasing pitches that, as I was saying, that they don't really want to hit. And that's what if you can do that against Japan, that's ideal. Here we go, and he's just going outside there. And then slicing under the ball.
And there you see it, so ball's gone very high, but because he's got a bit to play with. Loads up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Oh.
Some good work by Une picking the walk. It's the 5th walk.
Just missed that one, yes.
So with the runner on first, into the batter's box is the second base, Yasumi.
See, the difference is though, yes, we've had some walks, but they haven't been our first hitters.
No, that's right.
Right?
Just needs to settle a bit. Just getting a bit away with here. You know, got ahead of that last hitter, and he's throwing probably about 4 or 5 balls in a row. So he just needs to settle a bit, get back into his rhythm.
That's a good hit out to centre right field. Unez going around second, around third, and all the way to the plate. Japan scored their second run in their fourth to bat and lead 2-0.
Right, he tino tere. Very fast around those bases.
Very fast.
And then once again, you know, you just get him behind, just get him behind, and having to come in and throw those strikes and
That's right.
into
That's
the
right.
heart of
It's
the
just
plate.
so that should have been going outside, just wasn't enough outside the plate.
And he knew it.
Too close
He
in
from
that
the,
zone.
From
Great
the time
base
he hit it
running.
into
Yeah.
that gap, he was going all the way to third. This is Morita into the batter's box with the runner on 3. His team ahead by 2 runs to 0. Yusuke Morita.
Tata, tēnō tata. Te hopu, very close, Cole Evans.
Cole Evans trying to pull that one out of mid-air. Unfortunately, couldn't quite secure it. Morita safely down to first base, scores Yasumi from third base. Japan lead by 3-0.
Here we see the replay here. Drive over shortstop, just missed that.
It's Matsuda into the batter's box, the designated player. It's another high fly ball, and this one has gone way over the centre field fence. Kemo Tewehi. Matsuda Hei Konera. The ball goes sailing over centre field, scores himself, plus Morita. And a good celebration there from the Japanese players for their 4th run in the 4th inning, taking Japan out to a 5-0 lead.
And there we go here, he just got on. In fact, he looked like he opened up a little bit, but, you know, he's still got enough on that ball, celebrating as they come around the bases. Good solid hit over centre left field.
So this is a big 2-down rally from Japan. They've scored 4 runs with 2 away from 3 hits, including an automatic. Toriyama into the batter's box, first base.
And that'll be the learning for the Black Sox, is the Japanese team traditionally will just keep battling away, battling away, battling away.
Going up after that rise ball a bit, Toriyama. Ball getting driven out into the public area by the concessions.
It's that hit again. Oh, I think he knew when he hit that, that was gone. Just on that replay, enjoying the moment.
So Japan will be very happy with this effort in the top of the 4th. As I say, they had 2 outs and they've managed to score 4 runs. Unfortunately, Toriyama hoki ki te pai, it's the 3rd strikeout for him, unfortunately, to retire Japan after their 4th turn at bat, but they've scored 4 runs off an automatic, a 3-base hit, 3 hits in total and a walk, and they lead by 5 runs to 0. The Black Sox, a bit of work to do going into the bottom of the 4th. No mai hoki mai ki te patara. Welcome back to the battle. I think I've got that right, Bevan.
Pakanga.
Pakanga. Pakanga. Welcome back.
Battle.
Pakanga. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here we have the Black Sox chasing 5 runs. A lot of work to do. This is number 99, Riley Markia. For those of you who are joining us from outside of New Zealand, you'll hear us using a bit of te reo Māori. This is because it's one of our official languages here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, but also because we're preparing for our first official broadcast of a tournament with our Indigenous broadcaster, Whakaata Māori, Māori television here in New Zealand. As we see Riley Markia striking out, so you'll have to forgive us as we continue our journey of improving our reo. I just want to thank some of our viewers who have also given us some suggestions around grammar and use. We're all on a journey, so thank you from Bevan, Jackie and myself. The Black Sox were in the bottom of the 4th with 1 away. They're chasing 5 runs, and in the batter's box now Connor Pedden.
Yeah, as we can see, the Japanese are back into their groove again, you know. First batter struck him out. Once again, got that first out.
I have to say their intensity is relentless, isn't it? It's every pitch, it's not wanting to give up a single walk, it's like they're always striving for that perfect game.
Yeah, and I think that's just their style, their way, we call it their tradition, their work ethic, their discipline. That's just in their nature. That's how they live, play sport. You know, they're very, very disciplined.
You know, to what degree, Bevan, do you think culture does come into the style of play in a sport? So, you know, we've recently seen the Black Ferns do extremely well, bringing, you know, quite a bit of te ao Māori into the way that they approach the game. Do you think there is a connection?
Yeah, there definitely is, because it's all about identity and who you are. You know, if it goes back, if you don't know who you are or where you're from, then it makes it very difficult to be successful in whatever you do in life. And obviously, you know, they definitely showed in regards to understanding of the who and the why of themselves and also what they were doing. And then, you know, you look to where they were 12 months ago, and everyone was pointing the finger, and people were getting dropped, and new coaches coming in, and they collectively came together and did the right thing, you know, of finding out who we are and what we're here for, and what's the best thing for us in regards to, as we say, whakapapa and whakawanaungatanga and those sorts of things.
Connor Peden collects the walk down to first base. How much of it do you think also has to do with amateur sport in New Zealand? Because, you know, the Black Ferns, you know, also have to hold down full-time jobs. Black Sox are very similar in that respect. Do you think they hold on to the essence of it a little bit more than the professionals?
Yeah, I think they do, because they all understand what they're giving up. They're giving up and they're sacrificing a whole lot to turn up and to play for New Zealand. You know, they're giving up time off their work that they're going to have to use for their holidays, in regards to Christmas holidays that they can't spend with their family. Obviously, the monetary side of it, but the monetary side of it is not why we play the game. You know, we play the game because we enjoy each other's company, and we're very successful.
Morita takes the catch in shallow left field to retire Dorna. That's 2 away. Does that resonate with you, Jackie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I think about it, I think, you know, it's hard to make that transition too, because I agree with Bevan. As an amateur, your purpose is there because you love the sport, and it just so happens that you can also be very good at it. But then the reward is that why should you not be rewarded financially if you are good at it? But what comes with that is often key stakeholders who are investing in you.
Yasumi with the catch to retire Bradley Bennett. We'll come back to this conversation once we go to this break. As we go into the top of the 5th, it's Japan all over the Black Sox. 5-0 going into top 5.
Number 1 for all the best throwbacks, 90s and more.
What's he up to now?
Probably working on his career.
Oh. Beep, beep. What are you up to, Matai?
Reversing.
Have you got your ticket?
Yep. I start a new job driving a forklift on Monday.
I thought you worked in an office.
Don't limit yourself, Brian. It's never too late to make smarter choices. How's Karen?
Take control of your career with Tradestaff.
Nau mai hoki mai ki te whenua o Manawatū. Looks like we have a pitching change here. Josh Pettit coming in to replace Pita Rona. Pita did an outstanding job, Jeremy, in regards to keeping the walks to a minimal, keeping the ball in play. Obviously got behind and it got hurt a bit there in the last innings where they scored 3 runs.
And I think too, you know, this isn't club softball anymore, you know, and every one of these matches, these are the top 6 teams in the world, and you're now pitching against the best. So, you know, I think he threw a good 3 innings, and then you just saw then the effect of coming up against such a good hitting lineup like the Japanese. But I think he should be pretty proud of what he's done today, and as we say, it's the beginning of a journey before the real stuff starts towards the end of next week.
Yeah, and I think the thing is too for us to remember is, and again Mark Sorensen, I believe that he'll be well aware of it, that it's going to take his whole team to win a World Cup, not just one person. So you've got to give everybody their turn to show what they can do.
This is another new combination then. This is Pettit to Watts. Pettit comes out of Wellington, as we mentioned before. Watts out of Otago, Canterbury. Just confirming that pitching change.
Yeah, and it'd be good for his, his students being a teacher down there, and then, they can see his teacher being up there, the kaiako behind the dish.
Yeah, they get inspired, don't they? It gives them something to talk about. Watching their peers represent the country.
So Kataoka is the hitter. Actually, I think we've had a sub. So this is Kitazawa, who's come in for Kataoka. Just to see whether or not that's just for this hit or whether they'll go into the field as well. So the New Zealanders will be conscious. They'll also want this game to continue beyond the 5th inning. And it's a called strike. So good start for Josh Pettit. Strikeout for 1 away. So number 42, Hamamoto, is up to bat with 1 out. That ball has just gone foul down the left-hand line. Just get the team to work on the key on the left-hand side. It's actually the top of the 5th. 1 away.
But he's just getting that pitch given to him, so that's good. That's what you want to see. Nice low pitch there.
So the New Zealand pitching staff have been battling injuries. Groin strains, more serious injuries. And so they'll be wanting to make sure that they're giving their pitchers enough time to be able to find some form, but at the same time making sure they're not exacerbating the aches and pains that they're already trying to manage. That's called fair. So Joel Evans just getting a little bit of a glove to it, and some excellent running by Hamamoto. Have to have great pace to be able to get around there so quickly, but he does. Japan now with the runner on 2, Kawada up to bat.
You're getting the call from his first base coach, letting him know that it's deflected. Don't slow down, just keep going. They just send them, and that's really important. Otherwise, if you hesitate, you may not go.
And the key thing with that, Jackie, is that as soon as they've made contact, they're going straight away.
That's right.
There's no hesitation once they've made that contact either.
Nice out, Joel Evans, tidy across to Connor Peden.
There we go, just making contact there and sliding into 2.
So Japan now have a runner on 3, but there's 2 away. Sakuraba up to bat. Japan ahead by 5-0.
he wasn't sure of that. It sort of just dropped in there.
Black Sox are wanting to make sure that they don't allow too many more runs in.
Yeah.
Got 3 more turns at bat. Did he go? Yes, he did.
Strike, yes. Yes, you're right, Hoani. I think they'll be pleased to get out of this inning if they can.
Got a special guest who'll be joining us through the rest of this inning as we see Cole Evans. Very tidy across to Connor Peden to retire Sakuraba after their 5th turn at bat, and that was a good effort from Josh Pettit, just pulling things back for the Black Sox. Japan lead by the same score, 5-0. And it's a real honour. Evan, we've got our guests. Do you want to introduce them?
So, tēnā koe, Brad Rona. Tēnā koe, Brad Rona. How are you going?
Yeah, good, thank you, bro.
Outstanding to have you. So, got a question for you. How does it feel being on the other side of the white lines and watching your son play?
Actually, it's quite exciting, but at the same time, I've got these butterflies in my stomach that I've never had before.
But you know, congratulations on your achievements right throughout your time of playing. You know, ISF Hall of Famer, and you know, completing those sorts of things. But probably more importantly to you and your wife is your son turning up and having his debut today, really, in the colours.
Yes, I'm sure he's nervous too. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, especially with all the whānau and friends that have turned up today to support. So. Yeah, it's an honour. It's definitely an honour.
Well, it's your home ground. It's where you started playing, didn't you?
Yeah, sure was. Back in the day, in my college youth, in my days of Hotapora.
Yeah. But no, it's outstanding. And how do you see that the things are going to go forward for for the Black Sox?
Well, you know, we're here to support, obviously, but these guys have to mould together, as you know, Beaver. We've been in these situations before. They're getting their game time, which is preparing for next week. So they're going to go through some ups and downs.
Yeah,
obviously, you know, they've had the loss this morning to Canada, and they're trailing this game. But you know, we believe, and we'll always be behind them.
Well, tēnā koe, Brad. Thank you for your time, and I'll let you get back to watch your son play. Awesome. Kia ora, Brad.
Kia ora, Bevan. Nice interview there with Brad Rona, ISF Hall of Famer, outstanding softballer. He used to be so exciting to see hitting. He'd always sit there in anticipation of how far the ball was going to go.
Yeah, but you know, the good thing about Brad is he was always up for the battle, and it was like, let's go. It's between me and you.
I think he started the battle, didn't he? and finished it. Oh.
But that's that competitiveness,
yeah,
you know, that you'd love.
Yeah.
That he brought to the game. And he did exactly the same in the field.
So Tane Mumu, the replacement hitter, picks the walk. So this is the start the Black Sox would have wanted. They're 5 runs behind. We're in the 5th inning.
And you know, coaching, what a good call. Give your players a go, get them in the batter's box. Give everybody a shot.
Yeah, that's right. And you see Japan have brought in Matsuda. Obviously, they want to close it out.
Yeah.
Bringing them in and see if they close it out.
They want to close it out, or maybe they just want to give him some game time too, Bev.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's their toko tūmoana.
Yeah.
You know, he's their rock of this team.
Oh, that's a great bunt.
And he can field.
Aye.
Good softball all round. Matsuda with some nice fielding, but an excellent bunt from Date Makia Matakatia. Advances Mumu down to second base, 1 away.
And you see Matsudo on that play there getting in, aggressive, eh? He's just an all-rounder. Not very often you see your pitcher get in before your third baseman.
He will, you know. He's probably the Jared Martin of the Japanese team, you know.
Yeah.
We Jared used to do the pitching and play first base and the hitting and the DP.
That's right.
Had that ability to do it.
So the Black Sox chasing 5 runs. They've got a runner now in scoring position. Down at 2, that's Tane Mumu. So Matsuda came in for Koyama, who was very tidy on the mound, didn't give up any runs, took 5 strikeouts, gave up 3 walks, just the 1 hit. So he'll be very happy with his day on the mound against the Black Sox.
And that's why Japan will be tough though, because they've got depth in their pitching staff and their players, the adaptability of their players and the variation that they can have out on the field. But most of all, they've just got that depth.
This is Ben Anuka in the batter's box. He's flown out twice to right field so far.
Kia kaha.
Let's see if Ben can find a gap in the field. He's been certainly making contact and hitting the ball hard.
Certainly the Black Sox will be wanting to score at least 1 in this inning. We'll need to start getting on the scoreboard.
Kapai karawe. Kapai.
Aere ki te papatahi. Enoka down to first base with the walk.
And that's a good turn at bat from a hitter that is quite capable, right, of hitting a long ball, or, you know, and can be sometimes tempted by that. But actually, we need runners on base.
That's right.
It's Joel Evans now with runners on 1 and 2.
Because he'll just play with us. Matsuoka, he'll get out there and he'll just play with us and he'll just nibble and do what he needs to do. And if we go fishing and we go chasing, then those are the things, you know, we're gonna help him out.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that natural curving ball that heads away from the right-hander. Assisted a bit by this breeze at the moment. It's an amazing double play from the Japanese side. It's a 6-4-4-3 double play to retire the Black Sox. Great work from Japan. And so we go into the top of the 6th. They've kept the Black Sox scoreless. It's 5-0 Japan.
Number 1 for all the best throwbacks, 90s and more.
Kia ora and welcome back to the Tradestaff International Invitational Series. It's all Japan at the moment. They just completed a wonderful double play to retire the Black Sox, just as they look like they might be able to start something. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. So we're now going into Japan's 6th turn at bat, and they'll be very, very happy with their form early in this build-up to the World Cup. And starting the hitting for Japan will be their leadoff hitter Une, followed by Yasumi. Josh Pettit will continue the pitching for the Black Sox. This is his second inning pitching. Pretty tidy in the last inning. Of course, he came in just after the Japanese had scored 4 runs. Gave up 1 hit, but was able to make sure that the flow of runs had been stemmed, and continues into his work.
Yeah, we've got to get out of this innings pretty quick.
That was a big hit.
I didn't mean that quick.
That quick.
We were just all kind of breathless. Oh dear. Bevan, do you have any concerns from what you've seen so far with the pitcher-catcher situation in the Black Sox?
No, not really. Obviously, they're still building, coming together, and once again, you see a new combination out here with these two, with Josh and Cameron Watts. You know, it's about them understanding each other too, you know, and getting each other into that rhythm of helping each other out and making sure that, you know, talking, I like this, I don't like this, this is what's working at the moment, this is how I'm feeling, and those are that's what you need to have to happen in regards to a battery.
Jackie, you would have been in a few situations in your international career where you're kind of building up to a big event like a World Series, or in your case an Olympic Games, and there would have been ups and downs in your build-up preparation, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, in terms of, if I reflect on what we've seen today for the Black Sox in their last couple of games, and even how Japan have scored the runs today, you know, the first couple of runs that each team have scored against them have actually been on sort of like errors, really, that sort of bobbles or by the catcher, or sort of a wrong pitch or a wild pitch from the pitcher, right? So you can tidy that up, you can fix that. That's an easy fix. What we probably have to do is tidy up when runners are on base, and what you're talking about, Bevan, is just tighten up what are the pitches that we need to be pitching in those critical situations, because that's what the opposition will do, is they will try and manufacture those runs and apply pressure in those situations. So if we can tighten up there, look, we can fix this. You know, those are things that we have control of. So I think they should be pleased with where they're at and what they've done so far.
And you know, if they work at it and with runners on, and Japan showed it the last innings, you know, you put the ball in the right place and the batter hits that ball, and then it's straight to the field and you roll that double play and you're out of there.
Yeah.
And those are those key moments.
Yeah. So we will get there. They just need the game time.
That was a tough one for Dante Makia Matakatia, having to come forward and the ball just getting away from him. Still, go down as an error. Yasumi safely makes it to first base, and Morita into the batter's box. 1 out.
Just reading the bounce, reading that hop.
Oh.
Gee, they like that right side of the field, don't they?
One thing I was going to comment on has been the standard of the fielding in both the games that we've seen today. So that was the first error in this match.
Yes.
I think we might have had one, and that would have been a marginal in the previous match. But the ground fielding, the double plays, they've all been executed. It's been a good exposition of fielding.
And that's what that's what you come to expect with these teams. You know, when you've got the top 6 in the world, you expect that those plays get made. And they become very tight ball games.
I do recall my first ever World Series for the women's in 1990, where unfortunately we came away with silver. We had one error in the whole tournament.
It's a common refrain, isn't it? Defence wins championships and offence wins games. That's incredible. I mean, how many games would you have played? Must have been 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Was that with Ed Dollage?
That was with Ed Dollage.
Yeah. So that's the third strikeout for Josh Pettit. 2 away. Matsuda into the batter's box.
Nice strikeout, little off pitch.
Down. That's when you're speaking.
And we'll keep you with us at the end of this half inning. Got another special guest. Bevan Martini will be interviewing Thomas Mark here. Just had to quickly check over my shoulder. Another dad. A couple of kids in this team. Josh Pettit doing a good job. This is his second inning. Commentator's curse out to centre right field. As we see Yasumi come all the way to home plate. That's a 2-base hit to Matsuda. The Rock out to centre right field, scores his teammate, takes Japan out to a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, Tokoto Moana. You know, the main essence of this team. And he has been for a number of years. You know, he's their spark.
And here he goes here, showing that what can happen. That pitch probably sat in the zone there a little too much. Great drive out to centre right field.
Toriyama is in the batter's box. He's really struggled today, 3 strikeouts.
He doesn't seem to be too happy with himself, is he? Last turn at bat he wasn't happy with himself either. They caught him swinging at that high pitch. Let's see if we can do it again.
Picks it right this time, Toriyama. Stay with us at day 2 at the Tradestaff International Invitational Series. Australia, Czech Republic, as we see the strikeout taken to retire Toriyama and Japan in their 6th turn at bat. Not before they score 1 run from 1 hit and 1 error. Josh Pettit doing well though, 3 strikeouts. That 1 run wasn't an earned run. And so Japan now leading by 6 runs to 0 as we see the replay before we go to our interview. And there we see the ball just dropping in, hanging over the inside of the plate, and Toriyama sadly his 4th strikeout, but good news for the Black Sox. Bevan, you've got a friend.
Kia ora, I have. Tēnā koe, Larry. Welcome. So, you know, how does it feel being on the other side of the white lines? Or actually, you've actually coached and been on the other side of the playing line, so how does it feel being on this side of the fence and watching your sons play?
Oh, a little bit different being up here, Beav, watching the boys play. Certainly like to be down there with them, but yeah, obviously, very proud of the boys. Dante making his debut today and gets to do it alongside his brother. So as whānau, we're proud of our boys, and looking forward to obviously next few games and then obviously next week.
That's right. Obviously, you know, we've played against Japan a number of times. You see anything different?
Oh, no. Look, outstanding team, great defence, very good pitching. They put the ball in play and hit the ball hard. So Matsuda's been the man today and has been for a long time, as you say.
Oh, Kapai, thank you so much for your time, Larry. And congratulations to you and Kara for your boys on their debut and all the rest of it. Kia ora.
Thanks, Beef. Cheers, bye.
Kia ora, Bevan. Kia ora, Thomas. Nice to see you. Great servant of the game after an amazing international career. He's now coaching, one of our best coaches in the country, and doing well.
And he's still giving back to those junior grades.
Amazing.
You know,
Amazing.
Still coaches senior grade, and so his life still revolves every morning, getting up, making those lunches, off to the park with the chili bin.
Yeah.
You know.
Supporting though, isn't it? We've all had that support through our career, and we know that it's so important to us to be able to be successful in sports. Ooh.
Hamamoto overran the ball, misjudged it in the wind, and then just casually threw his glove in behind him and caught the ball. Can anything go wrong for Japan today? I don't think so. That's one down. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and here we have one of Thomas's boys, Riley Markia. He started this game with a safe hit, then a strikeout. This is the first time that he's faced Matsuda.
You know, and when we look at Matsuda and you talk about how he's that rock, you know, and the seed of the Japanese team, and then you have people like Thomas and Brad Rona who have also, and yourself, Bevan, you know, you've led the way. You guys have also been that seed, that rock of our Black Sox too. So carrying that legacy and handing that over to our new players that are coming in to the Black Sox now and will take us into the future.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. We just want to see them be successful, you know. Like you know, like Thomas and Brad both said, you know, the butterflies are still there. Well, I arrived here yesterday and the butterflies were gone. And I haven't played since 2006. You know,
it's
but
still fresh.
It's still there, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously the body's going no, but the mind's going, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, because we love it. We love it. That's what we played all our lives to do and to feel, and yeah. We love the nerves. Do we love the nerves?
Yeah, you know, it's competition.
That's what
it's about.
It is.
So the Japan team, they've really looked the entire package today. We've seen long ball hitting, we've seen base running, we've seen the short game, we've seen an impeccable display in the field. They must go into the World Cup as one of the favourites, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think what's probably needs to happen to them is you probably need to get them rattled. You know, because they're happy just ticking along in their own environment, in their own sense of where they're at. Once you get them rattled, take them out of that comfort zone that they're used to being in. Be interesting to see how they operate.
Well, they're very typically used to routine, right? Everything is how it's supposed to be. That's how they like to take control of games, so they're in control of what that structure and that routine looks like. So to your point, if you can disrupt that, yeah, that's when they will uncharacteristically do things that are just not in their character, right?
Yes, that's right.
So what does that look like? How do you achieve that?
Well, if we're not getting base runners on, it's a bit hard to put the pressure on the fielders. If we get base runners on and we do that unorthodox stuff that they think that we're going to do. So we've got to flip it and put the ball in play and run like them and put, you know, do those sorts of things. Expect the unexpected, really.
And I think that's for any team that plays against them, because that's their style, that's how they've always played. So anyone that comes up against them, if they can do that, if you can do that, you know, and it could be times when you might have, say, a DP or your number 4 hitter who would typically be expected to hit long, may drop a running bunt or just do or slap or move the ball in a different way that you would be expected to do. That just starts to upset the way that they think in their normal routine.
Yeah, and it'll be good, you know, even though we're down by 6 runs, you know, to do something different here, you know, get a runner in motion, do something completely different than we're doing, and just see what they do, because that's what this weekend's all about. If we did it and it was 0-0, how would they react?
Yeah.
This is Connor Peden, the first base in the batter's box. Riley Markia at first base, 1 out.
And that's something, Bevan, I think Mark would be aware of, again, in terms of his coaching experience, knowing Japan, knowing many of the teams, because he's certainly been around for some time. He'll be aware that we've just got to bring some different elements to the game.
Connor Peden watches one go through. That's first strikeout for Matsuda. Japan with 2 away. Into the batter's box. We have a replacement. It's number 6, Jerome Raimaki comes in to bat.
And it's the same with going, you know, bringing Jerome in. You know, he's been on the bench. You're going to get a situation when you go to the World Cup and you're chasing 1 run or 2 runs. You need to see if he can come in and put back the ball and give you that option of being able to move the runner or drive that, you know, score that run.
Yep.
And just seeing how Matsuda operates, I think we need a team of left-handers hitters, so he doesn't have that outside part of the plate.
Matsuda doing a good job there, though, clipping the inside of the plate, catching Jerome looking.
Just mixing it up.
That's a nice, nice fly ball, comfortably taken by Sakuraba to retire Raimaki and the Black Sox after their 6th turn at bat. It's all a bit of a struggle for the Black Sox at the moment. We're going into the top of the 7th, and Japan leading by 6 runs to 0.
Te rao, te raukura, Te Awa Kairangi's annual festival day is back. Saturday, January the 28th, 2023. We're looking forward to putting on the big event again for the Hutt Valley, where we'll bring to you local entertainment from local performers and guests and more. Te Whiti Park on Saturday the 28th of January 2023.
No mai, hoki mai, welcome back to the Tradestaff International Invitational Series, a key build-up event before the WBSC Men's World Cup in Albany coming soon. This is the Black Sox versus Japan. We're in the top of the 7th, Japan dominating all over the Black Sox, leading by 6 runs to 0. We've got another pitching change. You would have seen Jerome Raimaki came in to bat. Of course, he came into the slot that Josh Pettit was in. Can't return a substitute, so we go back to the original person in the slot, which was Peter Rona. So Peter will have an opportunity to come back and close out the game for the Black Sox in the 7th inning. Josh Pettit, pretty tidy, as we see a fly ball out to left field. It's a single base safe hit to Katazawa, safe hit to left field. Pettit, as I was saying, 9 batters, 4 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits, 1 run, not an earned run though. They should have come out of that inning without conceding a run. So pretty tidy from Josh Pettit.
And he'll be pleased with that.
This is number 42, Hamamoto. And the wild pitch. Kitazawa down to 2. So not a common situation, Bevan, to be taken off as a pitcher and then to have to come in for 1.
Yeah, but you know, it's when Pitter's in and he's not the DP and he's just down as a pitcher and you take him out. Obviously, Pettit's not a batter for you, so you got to make those. He has to come back into in, or you bring someone else in that can pitch.
And probably thinking about, again, this is the time that you're thinking about the what if I'm in this situation, because your coaches have to really, this is an opportunity for them to think about what those strategies look like too, right?
Yes, that's
when
right.
When they come up to practice, who will I put in, who won't I put in, this is the situation, what's best for the team.
The whole thing about these warm-up games is that whilst it's nice for Japan to come out with the win, they probably haven't learned much, whereas the Black Sox probably have.
Yeah, and you look at it, you know, it's probably an opportunity to see if Josh Pettit can come in as a reliever.
Yeah.
You know, he's used to starting. Because if you look at it and they go with Daniel Chapman, and then he struggles a bit in the early innings, can Josh come in and start that and do that? And those are the things, like you say.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Yeah, that's right. And we were talking about before about how you do things differently, maybe, for the Black Sox, right? When you have an opportunity, which was interesting to see Japan opting to bunt then
Balls
in that
play.
Situation.
Yeah,
That's
well,
a nice play from Dante Marquia over to first. Sorry guys, 1 away.
No, you're right. But like that, he doesn't hit the ball.
Yeah.
And his main job is he just bunts and slaps. And so it doesn't matter what the score is, he's still going to do exactly the same as what he does.
Yeah.
You know, that unwritten rule's not there when you get 5 runs up or 6 runs up with Japan. They'll still bunt and they'll still slap.
Because that's their specialty.
That's
yeah?
Yeah.
That's their specialty. So again, going back to what we were talking about before, so we're giving that context, is how do you stop them from being able to just dominate and focus on their specialty, right? You've got to disrupt that and break that up.
This is Kawada in the batter's box. We've got 1 away. Runner on 3. The rain has just returned, unfortunately.
Has just for a little bit, hasn't it?
Everyone's ducking for the
running for shelter.
Running for shelter. And
yeah. Oh, get over for that.
That's a nice catch. Taken in foul territory by...
Oh, interference.
Joel Evans.
So he's going to call that runner at 3 out.
Just conferring, yes, that's correct. So, runner's interference. Very politely asked, would you please leave?
Yes.
Hoki ki tō pai.
Right.
Kia tere.
E noho.
E noho. Kia tere.
E noho.
And so we've got 2 away. So fortuitous for the Black Sox. In fairness, though, they would have taken that out quite comfortably. So it's Kawara still in the batter's box.
However, that also means that we now don't have a runner at 3.
And that's a strikeout. So a really nice opportunity for Hitarona to return, do a nice tidy job.
Nice tidy job.
And conclude the 7th inning for Japan. We're heading into the bottom of the 7th, and New Zealand chasing 6. See you soon. Kia ora koutou, welcome back. Bottom of the 7th, the Black Sox chasing 6. It's their last turn at bat. Bradley Bennett in the batter's box. He's had a fly out to left field, fly out to second base, and a nice hit just falling short of the centre fielder. That wasn't an error, that was a good attempt there from the centre fielder, so Bradley Bennett will collect safe hit.
And see that they're all there reacting, even allowing him to make a great effort at that catch, missing that, but everyone's there to pick it up. What to cover.
Cameron Watts in the batter's box, the catcher. So putting this in context, just remembering this is all about the Men's World Cup, which starts in Albany at the end of next week. This tournament has the top 6 seeded teams that will go into the World Cup. For New Zealand, this is a time of discovery and build-up as we see a great play from Japan. Second, quick turn, double play, outstanding stuff.
And just showing their class, aren't they? In the field.
But it's just automatic,
Beautiful play.
you know.
Yeah.
Ball gets hit there, that person's already there.
Yeah,
You know, they're already in position, they know what's going on.
Yeah, and that starts from your pitching though, right? And hitting your spots, so they're knowing that if they do hit this, this is where they're going to hit the ball to, this is what we will do. So they're able to have control of that. There we go, he's hit hard. There, you see, down to the third baseman. Made the play to second, and that out at first.
Pretty close call there at first
Very
base.
close. Yeah, we show again. Good solid hit. Yeah. It was close. Very close.
Outstanding play from the Japanese. The second quick turn double play in this match. But it is metronomic. It's fast. And obviously practiced over and over again.
And over again, yes. And the thing is they love it too. They get really excited about that, and as any team would. you know, that sort of stuff really energises a team and pumps you up, doesn't it?
This is Dante Makia Matakatia, second base. So both the Japanese pitchers have been very tidy today. Just 2 hits conceded, 1 off each. 6 strikeouts, 3 walks apiece. As we see the fly ball taken in shallow right field, and that will retire the Black Sox after their 7th turn at bat. It's been a dominating display from Japan. They have led from early on. They've been outstanding in the field with the bat and also on the mound. Jackie, your thoughts?
Oh, I think you said it. They've been dominating pretty much through the game. I think they're just showing their class. They are a class act. They're going to be a tough team to beat.
But we're on the beginning of a long journey, this build-up to the Tradestaff Men's World Cup towards the end of next week. Please stay with us. We've got Australia, Czechoslovakia about to come to you. Thank you to Jackie, thank you to Bevan, and over to you.
O kia ora, tēnā korua. E te ao whānui, ko o te mātou mahi e noia nei. Manawatū, Manawatoka, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka tīna, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka toka, tēnei hoki tō manawa ka pautaia ki tia, tīna noho tō manawa, he manawa ora, he ora, haume e hui e.
Tai ki e.
Kia ora, mauri ora.